Okay, hi guys. So, yesterday when I came up, or yesterday when I did my video on my idea for a siege mining component to my games, both the Belgrade one I want to film and then in the future, I had an idea, but friend of the channel, Tolemykus, who is, shares a lot of good stuff in the Discord chat, and he's also donated, so that's very nice. But anyway, he came up with a deck of siege mining cards, and I was going to, when I wanted to do this video, I was going to get some like index cards and write up the results. But I don't have any, so all I did was I took what he sent me and I just kind of modified it to use a D20. I think this should work okay, but I'll go ahead and go over the rules. So really, I'm not changing the rules that Telemachus made that much. Mostly just modifying it. So if I don't have cards, or maybe you don't, somebody else uses this, and you don't have cards on hand, it's not a big deal. So we have our different results. So progress, you would get a progress token or mark it. So I'm just going to mark it, like if we do that. And you need 4 to achieve a breakthrough. I think that's a pretty reasonable number. Then we have collapse. I hope I did the numbers on this correctly. Yeah, I think so. Then we have collapse, so the tunnel collapses, and the little rule sheet Telemachus sent me, he gave more definitions, and I'll go through those as we kind of test this out. We've got detected, that means the defenders detect the mining. We've got a false alarm, so they detect it, but they don't, they don't really react appropriately, or, they think they see something or hear something, but they don't. Breakthrough, that's seems self-explanatory. We have a sapper accident, so that's something that removes 1 progress token. And then we have a random event. Now, I might have this also potentially, remove progress tokens, but I might make like a D6 table beneath this. So like it could add 1. Maybe they hit, the defenders stumble on a tunnel from a previous siege, and so that gains like they can advance 2 progress markers or something like that. Maybe I'll have to think on that. So let's go ahead and roll through this. So the way this would work is if you're playing a game with pike and shot or any kind of war game rules, you would just add this in. It's not really very onerous. So if you're attackers, I'm doing Ottomans versus the Kingdom of Hungary. So on every Ottoman turn, the Ottoman player would roll a D20, or maybe I would as a GM, but regardless, you roll a D20. So we're saying it's beginning of the game, turn 1, and then we're going to go ahead and roll. We get a 6, so that would be 1 progress marker, so we'd get 1, and then it would continue to the next turn. And one thing that Telemachus added in these rules is that defenders may spend actions to listen. So I think we're using like Warlord kind of rules, or even Baroque, which I've also played here on the channel. I think I would say that would count as maybe a commander issuing an order. So the overall commander, yeah, I think, yeah, that could work. So in Warlord systems, your overall commander can issue orders, and I think Baroque as well. But anyway, the commander could issue orders to spend listen actions, instead of issuing an order to like some units, or reforming some units. I have to reread the rules for pike and shot again. But anyway, so that's another thing that Telemachus added in this. And then we do a breach effect table. So I'll keep rolling through this, and we'll just kind of run through it. So now we're, okay, the battle continues. finish turn 1, whatever is happening like on the actual battlefield, it doesn't really affect this too much. This is kind of extra. So here we go. We'll roll again. Say now, okay, it's the attacker turn again. We get a 14. So that would be a false alarm, which would mean the defenders think they hear something, but it's nothing, so there's no effect. So I would think that that means there is no progress either. It's just kind of doesn't continue. And then we move to next turn. Get a 19. So that would be sap or accident. Remove one progress marker and then skip the next mining action. Okay, so compared to the false alarm for the attacker, that doesn't remove your progress. In my imagination, it would be like they probably do hear something, but they just don't know enough to take action. And maybe even the attackers kind of pick up that they're listening in, and they can't really make real progress. So, okay, so we would lose a progress marker there. Obviously I'd probably use some kind of real token, but okay, so then next turn, get a 20. So that'd be a random event. So I'm gonna have to come up with some random events. Like I said, I'd want maybe half to be something good and half to be something, not good. So I might do that on a D6, a mishap, and then roll again. So it'd be 12. So we would get detected. Defenders here digging. They may launch a countermine attempt on the next turn. So then that would be, so we're rolling as the attacker, the attacker is detected, and then now we'll imagine that we flip to the defender's turn, and so we would launch a countermine, so we roll 1d6, and they would not collapse the enemy countermine, but it would hinder the attacker's progress nevertheless. So that's a nice feature. Let's just do like one more and see what happens. 1, so that would give us a progress. So we basically get that token back. And then let's see, one more. 12, detected. So we would once again repeat the procedure. And on a 6, that would collapse the tunnel, so the attacker would have to start over. This is just testing this out, and like I said, Tolemykus wrote this up to use cards, and I kind of adjusted it to use the D20 because the cards he sent me, or the rules for what the deck would look like is 16, or I think it's like 15 if it was on a dice. Obviously there's no D15, so I just added some extra chances for other things. Now, what would happen if we did get a breach from the attacker side? So when a breakthrough is resolved with the 4 markers, so we would go ahead and roll a d6, and like on 6, we'd get a full breach, the wall collapses, and we can, storm. And then 3 to 4, we get a partial breach, weakens the wall section, and defenders suffer -1 to defense and assault. So I think that would work in pike and shot for doing like a close combat, -1 to close combat rolls, and then 1 to 2. The mine can still fail. The sappers can be can die. So that's that's always a possibility, because in the 16th century and even kind of siege mining in the medieval period before, this wasn't like an exact science all the time. So okay, so that's the really Tolemykus's mining system. I think it's good. Works pretty well. Like I said, I just modified it to use a D20 instead of cards. I may also try the actual cards out when I can get, just get some paper or something and make up some cards. From a practical perspective, the dice might be simpler just because, just purely like logistics of like setting these games up. Like it's easier to remember to bring, like just my RPG dice, and instead of forgetting having to remember specific cards. But that's the mining system. Like I said, other than the dice, this is all the rules that Tolemykus sent me. I think it's really cool. It's a lot better of an idea than I had, and more kind of dynamic. So I'm looking forward to testing this out when I can get the Siege of Belgrade set up. I did get some additional figures from Coruscant recently. I had ordered some more European knights, and not knights, but they had some billmen from the War of the Roses range, which I think was like the closest I could find to like foot knights. And what else did I get? I got some Ottoman archers, the Azov archers, and then I also got some of the Voynuk infantry from Coruscant's Ottoman range. But I'm going to use those as defenders for for Belgrade. I'm not going to use them in the Ottoman army because they're also like probably close to being foot knights or something like that, men at arms for like early 16th century. Yeah. So anyway, that's the siege system. Like I said, I'm looking forward to doing this, to getting the full kind of siege on the channel. And I hope you liked it, and I will hope you have a nice day. Thanks for watching.